Welcome to Nation Face. We have been talking to David for quite some time now. He has many accomplishments, many fears, weaknesses, as well as many strengths. We are now perhaps facing World War III with an enemy we cannot see, and it strikes quickly and without fear. We all know what that invisible virus is. What I believe David wants to do is to tell us not to panic, and we will survive and get through this, and when we do we will realize that no one is better than anyone else and we all need to work together to survive. Most of us are only 1 or 2 months from disaster, and that the ones in charge will realize that we can no longer keep control in the way that we are proceeding now.
Yes, Catherine, that is all very true. We need to survive together as a whole and not as an individual if we are ever going to fight disease and starvation. Disease doesn't care if we are rich or poor. Disease doesn't care how smart or handicapped we are, and a disease doesn't care if we are old or young. It will strike any one of us very hard. One of the things we don't realize is that it's too late. Regardless of the virus, sooner or later we will all die. We all hate thinking about it, but it's the truth. Not all of us will die peacefully without suffering, however. If we help people, talk positively towards them, and make everyone feel wanted in the time of need, then that's half the battle. They will be able to handle their discomfort to show others that life is indeed worth fighting for. I am a poor person with many weaknesses but with many talents. I am a person who has to have something to look forward to. It doesn't have to be very much. Perhaps just a nice smile from someone from time to time. Perhaps going bowling and competing with my friends. Playing duplicate bridge, I enjoyed looking forward to it, even if it's just a chance to play. Going to my health club and working out. It's funny, I am a very private and lonely person. I enjoy spending most of the time by myself. Once a long time ago I almost got married. I loved her with all my heart and soul, and I was trying to help her get better. Finally we talked about marriage, something I thought I wanted. When it came right down to it, I knew I couldn't handle always someone being around me. Now I wish I had that friend. It's funny, I was working 70 to 80 hours a week talking to people and getting them to their destination safely, driving for a living. I considered each one of my passengers my friends, even if I didn't get a chance to know them. I learned a lot with my job and enjoyed it. I was satisfied going home alone each night and enjoying the peace and quiet at the end of the night. I was happy not going out at night. Now that our country is faced with a restricted, almost mandatory quarantine, I feel very trapped inside when I never felt before. To me, I have extreme pain seeing all the businesses that are forced to shut down because of fear of the unknown. I have never felt this kind of pain before. I have no one to call, no one to talk to, and yes, even myself, I have a huge fear of going to the emergency room in fear of getting sick with an unknown sickness that might not be any worse than my allergies. One of my weaknesses is that I hate being sick, especially when I am alone. Because of that, I never traveled much and never went anywhere on my own. I understand that I am one step away from insanity and losing control if I were to ever get sick without an option. I now understand how I am and the dangers of a quarantine without proper support. Money and supplies is only half the issues. People need people to survive and prosper. Without complete open communication and trust, there can be no peace, and the virus we are now fighting will win, because believe it or not, what makes a virus strong is organization. We need to be stronger and more organized than our enemies, and that takes emotional support as well. Even though we need each other and need to be together, we still need to find a way to do that without spreading the disease. This is the time to be friendly to one another and not fear the disease, but to work together, which we are not at the moment. I do not understand the truth, and I could be completely wrong. The internet is full of deceitful people who wish to trick you. I believe that Congress could be doing the same thing. They are trying to produce fear and terror in us so they can stay in control and be re-elected. Many people feel the same as I do. However, I am keeping an open mind to all of this, and I want the truth. What is disturbing to me is that I have no idea if I should be concerned with this disease or not. So far all I hear is our president, Congress, and our governor talking about how deadly this disease really is. I have seen the numbers which I am about to show you, so we can decide for ourselves along with other diseases to see if we really need to go to the extent of quarantine. One reason I believe we are being brainwashed is because we have not heard from the public about this. If they really want to convince that this is dangerous, why aren't they showing videos of overcrowded hospitals? Or what surprises me is that we haven't heard of any patients about how dangerous this disease is. We have all sorts of commercials about handicapped children, homeless dogs, and cats, but not one person as I know of coming forward saying that this is deadly. Not even any elderly people. Even during World War I and II they showed terrible pictures of people dying. Why not now? As of April 1st we have 164,000 approximate cases of the virus with approximately 3,000 deaths. The death age is 77.26 the last time I looked, and that number is always changing. From what I hear, it is for healthy people, it is no worse than the common flu. I actually talked to one person who explained to me that her friend came down with it and affected her entire family. She got it because she went out with her college friends to party and everyone came down with it. What they are not readily announcing is that 100,000 out of the 700,000 have now recovered. They have recovered without treatment and on their own. In Illinois, there are only 3,000 cases. That is less than 0.0001%. This justifies making people lose their careers, their jobs, perhaps starving to death or going crazy. How would you feel if you lose a family member or your wife or child because someone lost control and shot them, or even you? How would you be able to live with yourself if that would happen? I realize you weren't involved with the decisions, but in a way you are, since we are allowing Congress to control whether or not we live or die. You are now experiencing it for real, and no matter whether we are rich or poor, we are concerned about our survival. Congress is showing us that the poor could die or go insane and riot, and the wealthy should be worried that they will have to protect themselves and die. It's not a good system. I am not by any means stating that there is a good solution for this, however I don't think that quarantine is the answer to this solution. I believe love and understanding is much better. Lung cancer and the flu kills many more people, even 10 times more people, if not 100 times more people than this virus. The only difference is that this is election year and they are making the devil look good. I am almost believing in him.
Thank you, David, for that fantastic speech. You had me crying in tears through most of it and leaping for joy that someone is brave enough to speak out like that. I am proud to have you on our show. What you don't know is that David is battling a illness of his own creation. If you go to his website, myfriendsarereal.com, you will understand that he does care and is speaking the only way to exist.
Thank you, Catherine. What I want to point out is, yes, I do understand. I have grown to realize that we don't really understand till we are faced with disaster and death, for I have faced it many times without recognition, and I now care about the human race and I am ready to die for the human race. I no longer wish to be alone.
None of wish to be alone, even if you think that is true. We don't realize that till it's too late. I agree with you now, and I hope whoever is listening to us that you do the correct thing. We want the truth about this disease. If we can have it, then we can fight together to overcome it. I agree that greed is not the answer, but support is. This has been Nation Face, and we wish everyone a healthy life and a good night. Thank you.